I'm Dream Queen. Thanks for tuning in. Flying by the seat of our pants today. As we do every day. Who knows what to do on this giant blue marble on which we live? Why we're here, how we got here, how long we gonna be here, what should we be doing here, what we gotta do here, who is that with us here, who that dear. Well, we're right here on KMRD. That's listener-supported, low-power community radio, community-supported radio. Please go over to kmrd.fm and learn all the ways that you can support our stations. Click on support, and you can make one-time donations, recurring donations. You could become a underwriter of the station, and your business will be mentioned on the air. There's lots of ways. So often we fight fire with fire. Often we can fight fire more commonly with water. Water, feelings, emotion, fluidity, liquidity. The Taoists use the analogy of water a lot to describe the flow, how to exist comfortably going with the flow. I came across this thing on Facebook the other day, and it was published by a group called Philosophy Insights. And the quote goes like this: "Don't fall in love with a woman who reads, a woman who feels too much, a woman who writes. Don't fall in love with an educated, magical, delusional, crazy woman. Don't fall in love with a woman who thinks, who knows what she knows, and also knows how to fly, a woman sure of herself. Don't fall in love with a woman who laughs or cries making love, who knows how to turn her spirit into flesh, let alone one that loves poetry. These are the most dangerous. Or spends half an hour contemplating a painting and isn't able to live without music. Don't fall in love with a woman who is interested in politics and is rebellious and feels a huge horror from injustice. One who does not like to watch television at all, or a woman who is beautiful no matter the features of her face or her body. Don't fall in love with a woman who is intense, entertaining, lucid, and irreverent. Don't wish to fall in love with a woman like that, because when you fall in love with a woman like that, whether she stays with you or not, whether she loves you or not, from a woman like that, you never come back." And that is attributed to Martha Rivera Garrido. And I use this not only as a description of myself and what I hope to be, but as a description of many women who've been ostracized in our culture, in patriarchal culture. Those words could describe women like Frida Kahlo, like Toni Morrison, like Alice Walker, who has been calling to me from the ether for my entire life. I got a chance to meet Alice Walker very briefly during the beginnings of my radio career when I was a board engineer over at WAMU in DC. And she was on, I believe it was Diane Rehm. And this was probably, 25 years ago. And she's like a very small framed woman with a very interesting face. And even then, she looked old to me, like wise. I always thought that Alice Walker, I first heard other kids talking about her in my church when I was really little. And I guess someone was related to her. And someone else, as that kid, Sunday school kids, Baptist church, it's like this whole horror show when you're a child in that environment. For me, I felt like I was supposed to feel safe, but man, it was a lot of bullying and things that were going on down there, right? And I'm just gonna say that because that's what happened. This young person was really proud, to have been related to Alice Walker, and this was right after the Color Purple movie had come out, which still to this day, this work stirs up a whole lot of feelings in people, especially men. Okay. And there's a lot of people who feel like it betrayed. Yeah. It portrayed men poorly. It was Alice Walker's story that she chose to tell from a lens in which she's experienced life and other, women that she's known has experienced. I don't understand why people can't get that. Things are true no matter how they make you feel. And if they make you feel a certain way, then maybe you want to look at that and stand up for something. Okay? But this kid was like, hey, I'm related to Alice Walker and she's my cousin or something like that. And the other kid was like, something's wrong with her. You read The Color Purple? There's something wrong with her. So Alice Walker has contributed more to this society than probably that person is ever going to grow up to do. I hate to say it. I said what I said. She's put herself on the line to be a truthful person in a very compact meat suit and a very soft voice. And if you've ever seen her speak, she's not forceful, she's not loud, and I think that's one of the reasons she's not really being used in the way that a lot of other activists have been used this past couple of years and in our fight against fascism, because I don't think she stirs emotion in the same way that maybe Angela Davis has. Definitely not. She's not spitting fire like a blowtorch. Alice Walker's fire to me are like embers in the center of a fire, a campfire maybe that is died down over the night, but you can throw a little bit more wood on and cook your breakfast. You don't let those coals go all the way out. And so I just, this morning and last night, I was going to play the whole speech of remaining awake during a great revolution. It's the last sermon in A Knock at Midnight, inspiration from the great sermons of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which we've been reading on this show for about, a handful of months now, piecing it out. And I was just going to let that play and then talk on a few points. It's a very important sermon. It's the last one that he delivered at the National Cathedral just a few days before his assassination, maybe the day before, because they were in D.C. to do the Poor People's March. And I think talking about the Poor People's March and the situation that culminated in Dr. King's assassination is very important to talk about right now, as there is a literal street sweeping of unhoused people going on in this country. Governor Gavin Newsom has issued a mandate in California that cities got to start tearing down these tent communities, or else they won't be receiving any more state funding. He's passed an executive order on this, I believe, and our own Supreme Court has decided, whatever it is that you call these decisions, that you can just go ahead and tear these people's tents down with no recourse. Now, these are people who are displaced. These are not criminals. The homeless are not criminals. Can I say that one more time? The homeless people on the street who have no place to go because there are no shelters, or all the shelters are full, or shelters are scary places. These people that you see are not criminals. They have nowhere to go. Now their possessions in Albuquerque, other places, they're being thrown in the garbage, and people are being forced to move on as they watch what little things they have be thrown away in the garbage, and they're swept down the street, often ticketed and fined. Fines they can't pay, obviously. So where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? Why don't you ask your city council where they're going to go? And if they answer you, I'd love it if you would send an email to inthecabradio@gmail.com, because I want to know where your representatives are telling you that these people are going to go. So I don't know what people who voted and supported bills like the median bill in Santa Fe and things like this, just out of your face is where you want it. But I don't believe that. I believe that most people think you really want people to find a home. Like, I know no matter what side of the political aisles you're in, whatever you're at, I know that y'all want people to have a place to live and not just be put in jail and work camps. I know you don't want that. This poem is called "The World We Want Is Us." It's from a book called "The World Will Follow Joy, Turning Madness into Flowers." New poems by Alice Walker. And by new, I believe this book, 2013. Okay, that was new back then. The world we want is us. It moves my heart to see your awakened faces. The look of aha shining finally in so many wide open eyes. Yes, we are the 99%. All of us refusing to forget each other. No matter in our hunger what crumbs are dropped by the 1%, the world we want is on the way. Arundhati. And now we are hearing her breathing. The world we want is us, united, already moving into it. I'm Dream Queen. You're in the cab with me. And we're in the book club, a little pop-up suggestion from the divine feminine. The world will follow joy, turning madness into flowers. New poems from Alice Walker. So, off script, flippity flip the pages. I know spirit is real because I always stumble upon something that's right appropriate for the moment. We're going to hear this one together. It's called Democratic Womanism for Wangari Maathai. You ask me why I smile when you tell me you intend in the coming national elections to hold your nose and vote for the lesser of two evils. There are more than two evils out there, is one reason I smile. Another is that our old buddy Nostradamus comes to mind with his dreadful 400-year-old prophecy that our world and theirs too are quote-unquote enemies, lots of kids included here, will end by nuclear Nakba or Holocaust in our lifetime, which makes the idea of elections and the billions of dollars wasted on them somewhat fatuous. A Southerner of color, my people held the vote very dear, while others for centuries merely appeared to play with it. One thing I can assure you of is this: I will never betray such pure hearts by voting for evil, even if it were microscopic, which, as you can see in any newscast, no matter the slant, it is not. I want something else, a different system entirely, one not seen on this earth for thousands of years, if ever. Democratic womanism. Notice how this word has man right in the middle of it? That's one reason I like it. He is there, front and center, but he is surrounded. I want to vote and work for a way of life that honors the feminine, a way that acknowledges the theft of the wisdom female and dark mother leadership might have provided our spaceship all along. I am not thinking of a talking head kind of gal, happy to be mixing it up with the baddest bad boys on the planet, her eyes a slit, her mouth a zipper. No, I am speaking of true regime change, where women rise to take their place en masse at the helm of Earth's frail and failing ship, where each 1,000 years of our silence is examined with regret, and the cruel manner in which our values of compassion and kindness have been ridiculed and suppressed, brought to bear on the disaster of the present time. The past must be examined closely, I believe, before we can leave it there. I am thinking of democratic and perhaps socialist womanism, for who else knows so deeply how to share but mothers and grandmothers, big sisters and aunts, to love and adore both female and male, not to mention those in between, to work at keeping the entire community fed, educated, and safe. Democratic womanism, democratic socialist womanism would have as its icons such fierce warriors for good as Vandana Shiva, Aung San Suu Kyi, Wangari Maathai, Harriet Tubman, Yoko Ono, Frida Kahlo, Angela Davis, Celia Sanchez, and Barbara Lee, with new ones always rising wherever you look. Recent writers, for instance, Michelle Alexander, Isabel Wilkerson, and Nancy Turner Banks, MD, whose books, read together, go a long way toward bringing us up to speed on how our declining country got this way. You are also on this list, but it is so long, Isis would appear midway, that I must stop or be unable to finish the poem. So just know I've stood you in a circle that includes Marian Wright Edelman, Amy Goodman, Sojourner Truth, Gloria Steinem, and Mary McLeod Bethune, John Brown, Frederick Douglass, John Lennon, and Howard Zinn are there too, happy to be surrounded. There is no system now in place that can change the disastrous course Earth is on. Who can doubt this? The male leaders of Earth appear to have abandoned their very senses, though most appear to live now entirely in their heads. They murder humans and other animals, forests and rivers and mountains every day they are in office, and never seem to notice it. They eat and drink devastation. Women of the world, is this devastation us? Would we kill whole continents for oil or anything else rather than limit the number of consumer offspring we produce and learn how to make our own fire? Democratic womanism, democratic socialist womanism, a system of governance we can dream and imagine and build together, one that recognizes at least 6,000 years of brutally enforced complicity in the assassination of Mother Earth, but foresees 6,000 years ahead of us when we will not submit. What will we need? 100 years at least to plan. 500 will be handed us gladly when the planet is scared enough. in which circles of women meet, organize ourselves, and allied with men brave enough to stand with women, nurture our planet to a degree of health, and without apology, impossible to make a bigger mess than has been made. Devote ourselves, heedless of opposition, to tirelessly serving and resuscitating our mothership, and with gratitude for her care of us, worshipfully commit to rehabilitating it. That poem is called Democratic Womanism, from The World Will Follow Joy, Turning Madness into Flowers. Alice Walker, published in 2013 by Alice Walker. So how about we marinate on that? How about you take a moment and look up democratic womanism, compare it to your own version of feminism, compare it to aspects in your life. Make it personal. Just a thought to marinate on. Make it personal. What kind of lover would you invite into your life and into your home and around your children? What kind of leader would you invite into your life, into your home, into your children? What standards do you have? What standards do you express to your friends who tell you, girl, you deserve so much better. Homeboy, they playing you. You deserve so much better. I'm going to read one more piece, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not very versed with this book. I was walking out the door this morning, and it's been in the back of my mind, for sure, to bring this to the book club. And I do this OCD thing where I'm in and out my house like 5 times, and I'm trying to figure out what I forgot. Is it the faucet? Is it the stove? Never is. It's like my hat is like a book that's calling from this shelf. And the last piece I'm going to read, it's called Going Out into the Garden. Going out to the garden this morning to plant seeds for my winter greens, the strong fiery mustard and the milder broadleaf turnip. I saw a gecko who, like the rest of us, has been reeling from the heat. Geckos like heat, I know this, but the heat these last few days has been excessive for us and for them. A spray of water from the hose touched its skin. I thought it would run away. There are crevices aplenty to hide in. The garden wall is made of stones. But no, not only did the gecko not run away, it appeared to raise its eyes and head looking for more. I gave it. Squirt after squirt of cooling spray from the green garden hose. Is it the end of the world? It seemed to ask. This bliss, is it paradise? I bathed it until we were both washed clean of the troubles of this world, at least for this moment of pleasure, of gecko, joy, as I with so much happiness played goddess to gecko. At that time, Alice Walker was a miracle to that gecko. On the back cover of The World Will Follow Joy, there's a quote from Arundhati Roy. Alice's words are like the only thing you want to eat when you are ill. I feel that called out to me, and I feel a little bit better. All right, y'all. Appreciate you so much. This is 96.9 FM KMRD LP, Madrid, New Mexico.